So it's funny how during this post-colonial era of African history, over 50 African heads of state have been assassinated, the highest in the world. Most of these assassinations have been directly or indirectly carried out, backed and sanctioned by foreign powers like France, UK, US, Belgium, and even Portugal. But we can't always blame the white man for our problems, because we as a people need to start taking responsibility for our own action. So join me in this new series as we take a look at African head of state assassination and trying to understand why and how they were killed and the aftermath of their assassination. So please, if you not like this video, like the video and subscribe, because it won't hurt you if you do, but it actually hurt me if you don't. So like I said, like the video and subscribe, and let's get right into it. Prior to my research, even as a history geek, I've never heard of the name Sylvanus Olympio. But Sylvanus Olympio was the first African head of state to be assassinated in this post-colonial era of African history. But for us to understand why and how he was assassinated through the backings of the French government, we must first look at his background and his rise to power. Sylvanus Olympio was born on the 6th of September 1902 in Nkpadu, Togo, to the wealthy aristocratic Olympio family, who are descendants of Afro-Brazilian slave returnee. He received great tutorship and guidance from his father and Octaviano Olympio, his uncle, who was one of the richest and powerful men in Togoland as of the time. Sylvanus Olympio started his early education in a Catholic mission school in Lome, in which his uncle Octavio Olympio built for the Society of Divine World in 1903. He subsequently went for further studies at the London School of Economics, upon which he graduated and got a job in Nigeria at the Unilever Company, then Ghana, before returning to Togo in 1929. Sylvanus Olympio wasn't the first to push for independence, rather he was actually the new torchbearer, as he took the position from his uncle Octaviano Olympio, who as of the time had always pushed for greater autonomy for the Togolese people, even going as far as petitioning the colonial government for greater rights on the 24th of May 1909. Like I said, Sylvanus Olympio was from an aristocratic family, so with the great name comes greater responsibility, and that's just it. But let's fast forward to the 27th of April 1960, where he became the first Prime Minister of an independent Togo. And a year later, on the 12th of April 1961, he became Togo's first democratically elected president. There's this popular belief that Olympio was killed for his blunt negligence to enlist Togolese French colonial soldiers serving in the French army in Algeria and Indochina into the Togolese army. While some might even argue that Kwame Nkrumah had something to do with his death, as the two countries had a very tense cold relationship because of the split of the Ewe people between Ghana and Togo. As Kwame Nkrumah looked to unite the two countries together, Olympio intended to annex the eastern part of Ghana into Togo. It was so tense that there were multiple assassination attempts against Kwame Nkrumah that were really faintly linked to Olympio, and the attempt on Olympio was faintly linked to Kwame Nkrumah, as exiles opposing Kwame Nkrumah organized in Togo and those opposing Olympio organized in Ghana. But I can categorically say that all these schools of thought may have some atom of truth to them, but can't really hold up, as these are just pretexts for his assassination by disgruntled Togolese ex-French troops, which was sanctioned by the French government. You see, this was the reason for his assassination. He actually wanted to be less dependent on France, even telling the French press, and I quote, "I will do my best to ensure that my country can strive without France." End of quote. He even went as far as not joining the African Madagascar Union, and he was also considering leaving the CFA's monetary system in the early months of 1963 before his assassination, as he looked to create a Togolese central bank just the way his ally and friend Sekou Touré of Guinea did, by backing a Togolese currency with the Deutschmark. And this was a no-no for France, as it will halt French exploitation of Togo and will risk offering a model of emancipation for all former French colonies. Like I said, France wasn't having it. So on the 12th of January 1963, at about 11 p.m., a group of soldiers who were mainly rejected Togolese French colonial officers led by Chief Warrant Officer Emmanuel Bajoli and Sergeant Etienne Eyadema, who were both from the Kayebs tribes in northern Togo, invaded the presidential villa while Olympio and his wife Dina were fast asleep. But before they could reach his room, Sylvanus Olympio fled to the US Embassy, which was a fence away from the presidential villa, as the soldiers ransacked the area trying to find him. Now this is where the conspiracy comes into light. You see, according to African reports, at about 3:30 a.m., the French ambassador Henry Mazoya called the US ambassador Leon B. Paloda about the ongoing coup, stating the possibility of the Togolese president taking refuge in the US embassy. And for me, that's even enough evidence to know that the French sanctioned the coup in the first place. The ambassador went to the embassy and found Olympio, but told him to stay put and didn't open the building. Now this is where things get trickish, as the US ambassador didn't return for him. Instead, he informed Mazoya about Olympio's whereabouts. So it's really funny how after the interaction between Mazoya and the US ambassador, at about 7 o'clock, the coup plotters got hold of Olympio in the embassy and he was shot 15 minutes later, allegedly shot by Etienne Eyadema at about 7:15 a.m. who went on to become the future president of Togo. And as far as I'm concerned, the death of Sylvanus Olympio was sanctioned by the French government, and it wasn't even interfered by the US government, even after breaching its sovereignty by entering and allowing the coup plotters to enter the embassy in Lomé. I'd love to talk some more, but this is where we have to draw the curtain. Well guys, I'm all out, and if you love content like this, please subscribe and leave a comment, because it won't hurt if you do. It actually hurts me if you don't. So like I said, please leave a comment, subscribe, like this video. And I just want to say that this is the first part of the Assassination of African Leaders series. So if you like this content, like I said, give a brother a like, sub. Thank you very much, love you, bye bye, see you in the next video. Thank you, peace.